In the heart of the Middle East, two sworn enemies, Iran and Israel, have launched the most intense military exchange in modern history. For decades, they've fought in the shadows. Now, it's out in the open. But one question echoes across every news broadcast, social feed, and war room. Who really did more damage? The first blow. Israel's surprise strikes. On the night of June 13, 2025, the world changed. Operation Rising Lion was unleashed. More than 200 Israeli aircraft stormed Iranian airspace in a coordinated aerial blitz. The targets: nuclear reactors, ballistic missile factories, command centers, and key intelligence offices. But this wasn't just another airstrike. Israeli Mossad had already infiltrated Iranian territory, building a secret drone base to sabotage from within. It was a military and intelligence fusion like never before. According to Israeli officials, over 100 Iranian military and nuclear sites were struck in just 48 hours. Dozens of scientists were reported dead. Several key missile programs crippled. One Iranian commander admitted, "We were not ready for this level of precision." The counterstrike, Iran's retaliation, begins. Within hours, Iran responded. Under the codename Operation True Promise III, Iran launched over 150 ballistic missiles and more than 100 drones toward Israeli cities. It was the most intense barrage Israel had faced since its founding. Some missiles were intercepted, but not all. Civilian cost: damage inside Israel. Let's talk about the real cost: human lives and civilian infrastructure. In Bat Yam, an entire apartment complex was destroyed, families buried in rubble. In Ramat Gan, 9 buildings were flattened. Tel Aviv saw blackouts. Streets turned into war zones. At least 10 Israelis were killed, including 3 children. Over 100 were injured. Some will never walk again. Emergency shelters were overwhelmed. Hospitals moved patients to underground bunkers. Psychologically, it was a national trauma. For the first time in years, Israel's famed Iron Dome defense system was pushed to its limits, and it showed cracks. The weapons, what Iran really used. This wasn't just a retaliation, it was a message. Iran used a new missile, the Haj Qasem, named after the late General Qasem Soleimani. It's a guided ballistic missile, precision targeting, large warhead, and near supersonic velocity. Experts say it's designed specifically to defeat Israeli and American missile shields like Arrow 3 and David's Sling. It worked. Several slipped through defenses and exploded in densely populated zones. Iran also used Shahed 238 drones, stealth-capable, long-range, and harder to detect. This marks a major leap in Iran's drone warfare. Infrastructure collapse. What was damaged? Beyond human life, the infrastructure damage was staggering. In Haifa, oil refineries were hit, causing temporary shutdowns of northern energy grids. In Rehovot, missiles struck areas near the Weizmann Institute of Science, a major Israeli research hub. More than 200 vehicles destroyed, over 700 residential units severely damaged. Highways cracked, airports temporarily closed. For 48 hours, parts of Israel looked like a war-torn state. Cyber front and covert ops. But war today isn't just about missiles, it's about cyber warfare. Iranian hackers hit Israeli banking systems, causing digital chaos for hours. ATM outages, blocked accounts, intercepted communications. Israel retaliated with cyber attacks that disrupted Iran's air defense grid, communications, and even hijacked some of their drone signals mid-flight. It's a new kind of war, and both sides are playing 5D chess. Global shockwaves. World leaders scrambled. The United States, while affirming Israel's right to defend itself, pleaded for de-escalation. Russia offered to mediate, warning that prolonged war could collapse the region. Meanwhile, oil prices soared. The Red Sea shipping route became a no-go zone. Embassies closed, airspaces shut down. The world held its breath. Proxy chaos. Iran didn't fight alone, neither did Israel. Hezbollah fired rockets from Lebanon. Houthi rebels launched missiles toward Eilat, and whispers say Iraqi militia groups are mobilizing. This isn't just a war between two nations. It's a powder keg involving dozens of groups, each with their own agenda. Who hit harder? So, who did more damage? Militarily, Israel's Operation Rising Lion inflicted surgical-level precision damage to Iran's most sensitive sites. Iran, on the other hand, hit civilians hard, causing terror, death, and psychological warfare. But one thing is clear: both nations are now fully exposed. This is no longer Cold War tactics. This is open, high-tech, real-time warfare. What happens now? Neither side is backing down. Israel's prime minister vowed to strike again if needed, saying, quote, "We will not allow a regime that chants death to Israel to develop weapons of mass destruction." Iran has promised the next response will be even bigger. Meanwhile, the people, Israeli and Iranian, continue to suffer. The world watches, the Middle East holds its breath, and history is being written in fire. In the brutal calculus of modern warfare, there are no real winners, only survivors, losses, and lessons. While analysts debate missile ranges, death tolls, and geopolitical strategy, it's important we don't forget the people. The parents holding their children in bomb shelters, the doctors working through blackouts, the families mourning in silence. These are the real casualties of power struggles waged by governments, fueled by decades of mistrust and revenge. Israel and Iran may seem like distant nations to many, but this conflict holds a mirror up to the world. It asks us, how far are we willing to go before peace becomes impossible? With every missile launched and every life lost, diplomacy becomes harder, trust becomes rarer, and peace more fragile. This is not just a regional issue, it's a global alarm bell. What happens in the Middle East doesn't stay in the Middle East. Oil prices surge, shipping routes choke, alliances shift, and ordinary citizens everywhere feel the ripple. But perhaps the greatest tragedy is that none of this is new. We've been here before. Missiles, retaliation, mourning, and rebuilding. The cycle repeats, unless the world, leaders and citizens alike, decides to break it. So, as we move forward into uncertain days, ask yourself, are we fueling peace or feeding the fire? If you found this breakdown valuable, support us by liking, commenting, and subscribing to Decoding History and Science, your source for truth in the fog of war.